You took the chicken.
Yes!
Resident Evil. Free mansions forever. I don't want this mansion.
Welcome to a brand new episode of The Completionist. And today, guys, we're gonna go ahead and go on a very long overdue journey to a certain scary mansion. Bring guns. Bring herbs. Not that kind of herb. You know which one I'm talking about. Aloe vera doesn't count.
Resident Evil, one of the earliest games to incorporate cinematic storytelling, equipped with zombies, different variations of creatures, difficult puzzles, and a huge evil corporation. Resident Evil clearly defined the genre known as survival horror. I mean, look, he even says right there.
But Batman, what's with the weird camera angles? Why are you playing the remake? Shouldn't you play the original first? Deal with the bad graphics!
Sometimes, in my opinion, remakes will actually get it right. They take all the great qualities about the original, get rid of all the junk, improve an overall product, and create a game that is much more accessible to a new generation of gamers. Now, before we dive into the story, let's discuss the original. Back in 1995, our friend, and forgive me if how I'm saying this, I'm really bad at names, I can't really read that well, Shinji Mikami created Biohazard, which was originally supposed to be the remake of the classic Famicom game, Sweet Home. Now, for those of you who missed out on our other review, he also created Goof Troop the game. Shortly after finishing up Goof Troop, he immediately went to work on a horror game that was heavily influenced by George Romero's zombie films, trying to create a game that would have none of the failing ailments that most scary movies have.
What does any of this have to do with Resident Evil?
I'm getting there. See, Capcom knew that copywriting Biohazard worldwide would be really difficult, so they took a poll within the company, and because the game took place in a mansion, they decided to go with a new title for outside of Japan called Resident Evil.
Oh, Resident! Like a Resident Evil. I get it now!
And now for our story. In the small town of Raccoon City, numerous reports of missing people start to arise. Eventually, cannibalism is discovered, and all the signs point to these murders occurring on the outskirts of the city. The police department of Raccoon City sends out its Special Tactics and Rescue Services, or STARS.
Stars.
Right, they send in two teams to investigate. After the first team gets lost, the second team changes their tactics and begins to look for the first team. The team that this game focuses on stars our characters Jill Valentine, Chris Redfield, Albert Wesker, and Barry Burton, whereas the prequel, Resident Evil 0, follows the first team. When you start the game, you have the option of picking between Chris and Jill. At the start of their investigation, the team is forcefully led into the abandoned mansion, which is actually filled with people and animals who've become infected by the T-virus, a biological virus that turns the living into the walking dead.
Like Thriller!
Within the investigation, they discovered that the evil pharmaceutical corporation known as Umbrella is behind the creation of the T-virus, and all the inhabitants of the mansion are former employees that have been tortured and infected. It's up to you not only to find out the truth, but to do your best to survive. The original Resident Evil was released on the PlayStation. While graphics and gameplay were incredibly revolutionary at the time, the game in my opinion has not aged too well. Resident Evil has now become a very well-established franchise, with Resident Evil 6 coming out later this year. However, back in 2002, Capcom and Nintendo came together to release a completely remade version for the GameCube, getting a huge graphic overhaul with refined gameplay mechanics. The remake, in my opinion, really outshines the original.
Capcom, why can't you return to your glory days? Also, where the hell is Mega?
One of the key elements to the success of this game is the atmosphere. The developers knew exactly how to scare the player aurally, visually, and mechanically. The wonderful, scary soundtrack helps fuel the fear with sharp and crisp sound effects that will literally make you jump. For those of you playing this for the first time, for my own sake, please play it in the dark. There's nothing like playing a scary game with no lights on.
I'm afraid. Save me, Shirako!
The original suffered from bizarre load times. In between each area, you would have to wait for doors to open, which came off as a little boring. Now, while that element is still here in the GameCube version, it is greatly improved, and actually some think that because of the retooling of the load times, it comes off as building suspense, especially when you have no idea what's beyond that door.
Picture this, if you will. A zombie eating your face off. Imagine a place where there are no living humans, but they still roam the halls. Conjecture this within your cerebral cortex. Death!
Another canon quality for Resident Evil, which ended up making or breaking the game for many gamers, is the stationary camera angles. For me, it definitely made the game better. But a majority of the frustration that gamers felt was due to the fact that sometimes the controls would change depending on what perspective of the angle you were on. You could go in between camera angles accidentally because the controls would invert occasionally. You know, just like in real life.
I don't know what to do!
Resident Evil's gameplay is where it started to lose a lot of appeal for a majority of people, with the rigid camera angles, the stiff movement, limited ability of aiming, all peppered with the lack of inventory space and minimal item consumption. It's easy to see why this game was such a hit and miss with early gamers. You get the option of choosing between our two protagonists, Chris and Jill. I personally enjoy using Chris a bit more, but I did beat the game with both characters several times. While controlling them is virtually the exact same, subtle differences do define them. For instance, Chris is more durable when it comes to taking damage, while Jill is equipped with a lockpick, making it easier to go through doors that require some keys. Also, with Jill's campaign, she is aided frequently by Barry, making some of the boss fights a lot easier than if you'd played with Chris. With Jill, you've always got a friend by your side.
You've got a friend.
Speaking of Barry, a cool and important element of the story stems from your decisions. Chris will continually collaborate with Rebecca, while Jill will collaborate with Barry, and eventually everyone meets up with Wesker. These moments are crucial as they change the results of the ending. Primary gameplay consists of killing zombies and various monsters that range from gigantic spiders, raptor men, and oversized roaches. In order to kill your enemy, you must awkwardly aim your weapon directly toward them and fire. I say awkwardly because this game is not just your run and gun type of game. You need to carefully aim at your enemy and make sure your field of sight is perfect, or else you'll miss, and getting out of these situations is never fun. You can only aim straight at them, up or down. There's no in between, so it's important to take a shot when necessary.
Shooter!
In regards to bullets, ammo is incredibly scarce in this game, which I actually do appreciate. There's nothing more gratifying than slaying a zombie or a monster with nothing but your dagger. This game actually punishes you for being too trigger happy by wasting bullets. Precision is the key. If you take damage from encountering an enemy up close, you'll need to button mash to shove them away from you. However, in this version of the game, they added quick defense items such as the defensive dagger, the taser battery, or the grenade. These are really great escape mechanics that can change the tide of an encounter with a zombie, or a monster, or even an insane boss fight. However, like bullets, these defense items are limited.
In my opinion, a grenade doesn't seem like the best choice for a close quarters combat weapon.
You'll notice that when you kill a zombie, their bodies will stay on the floor. It's incredibly important that you get a fuel canister and light the enemies on fire. If you don't, they will respawn later on when you least expect it, and they're faster and stronger than ever. While zombies do move incredibly slow, as you get better at this game, you'll learn to appreciate them. Maybe even have a little too much more fun than you should. Old man Jenkins ain't what he used to be, ain't what he used to be. His face ain't what he used to be.
Oh, crikey, as you can see, we've got a zombie not even moving at all. Let's go ahead and give it a whack. Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, Benson, you're so funny. Benson, you're hurting me. You're hurting me. Benson, stop it.
What you say?
Oh my god. Oh my god, Benson, I'm so sorry. I didn't know, Benson. I'm
so sorry. What you say? But it's all for the boys, 'cause it is what you say.
Another element of this game that is really frustrating all the way through is the lack of inventory space. You'll find yourself collecting weapons and ammo for said weapons, but needing to carry first aid sprays or herbs with you as well. There's not really room for consolidation either. Most items need multiple spaces. This also includes items such as key cards, keys, puzzle pieces. But for those of us who enjoy playing as Jill and want a little bit more of a fun and easy experience in this game, I've got a friend with a glitch, and all it requires is a grenade launcher and some rounds.
Glitches with Old Man Snitches.
This reminds me of the time that I took Diablo to the Enchantment Under the Sea dance and that crazy doctor friend of mine.
Snitches, that's the plot from Back to the Future.
I remember I used to live on a desert planet, and this crazy old man named Diablo gave me a saber made of light, and I went on this interstellar adventure.
That was Star Wars.
Oh, yes. I remember when I was a young boy, Diablo and I found a pirate ship filled with loads of treasure. Oh, if only those people weren't
That's the
chasing it.
Goonies!
That's the Goonies, you're right.
There are so many fun and challenging puzzles. As you explore the mansion, it's important to read all the documents you stumble across, as not only do they provide a lot of backstory for a particular character you might find, but they also include passwords and hints as to how to progress.
A game that requires the player to read? I like it!
Some of my favorite puzzles were the ones that possibly could end in your untimely death, especially if you guessed them incorrectly or if you just didn't move out of the way. If you're not scared by slow-moving zombies trying to eat you in a scary shadow hallway, then there's always big bosses like the gigantic snake and spider and, well, whatever the hell this guy is, to always get your creep on. These boss fights are always fun. Even if you were armed to the teeth, there's still boss fights that will always provide a challenge. So you've battled zombies and monsters and
Fires! Oh my!
and you've conquered a lot of puzzles while making some new friends along the way. It turns out that despite who you play as, the story ultimately leads up to the same fate. The Umbrella Corporation used the mansion as a developmental facility to create the T-Virus, amongst other things. And yet, in all this, we discovered there's been a traitor amongst us. Albert Wesker, one of the members of STARS, turns out to be a double agent, luring STARS to be massacred on purpose. As the series goes on, you'll learn to love and hate Wesker. In any case, Wesker gets attacked by that, well, whatever the hell that guy is, and the self-destruct sequence is then turned on by Wesker. In order to survive this adventure, you must take down that, well, whatever the hell that guy is.
Hey, is that Super Meat Boy on steroids?
Depending on your actions, you can unlock 3 different endings. In the later half of the game, you can collect 3 MO discs that will unlock the prison that Jill or Chris will be locked in. And with the last fight with that, whatever that, you get the point. You must kill it before it kills your frequent collaborating partner. There is a lot of content for completing this game, and the best part is these completion bonuses feel incredibly rewarding and fulfilling. For starters, when you beat the game, you are given a time rating based on your performance, and possibly a bonus based on said performance. If you beat the game in under 3 hours, you will unlock the rocket launcher with unlimited rounds. And if you do it under 5 hours, you will unlock the Samurai's Edge, which is a pistol with unlimited ammo. Beating it once with one character will unlock one secret outfit, and beating it twice with that same character will unlock another. You will also unlock Real Survivor Mode, which is the game yet again, but with even less resources, and item boxes do not link up, meaning you need to carefully decide where you drop off your items, and finishing that will unlock One Zombie Mode. One Zombie Mode means you have one zombie chasing you the entire game, and you cannot kill that said zombie or else you'll get game over. And after you finish that, you will unlock Invisible Enemy Mode, in which you cannot see any enemies. This is without a doubt the hardest mode in the game that it has to offer. There's also no auto lock-on, and you can't see any features of the enemies. You can only see enemies based on water textures and mirrors. It's pretty damn hard. And if you beat that, you will unlock a special message from the creator of the game himself while getting a sneak preview and unused costume concept art.
There is so much completed!
Whether you're playing the remake or the original, Resident Evil is a fantastic start to an amazing franchise. The cinematic storytelling plots are there, all of the great and creative ways the developers scare you. It's a great time for any new and old gamer out there. For you PS3 users out there, you can buy this on the PlayStation Network, the original, not the remake. The remake is exclusive to Nintendo. You can buy that on the GameCube, or you can buy the newer, updated widescreen version, not really, on the Wii. Resident Evil Archives, Resident Evil. With that in mind, guys, this game gets my completionist rating of finna beat it.
Finna beat it!
Before I go, guys, it's time to announce our 28,000 subscriber contest winner based on your guys' votes on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. The winner's been pretty unanimous in regards to this whole lineup. It is the Completionist. Technically not an original idea, but I do love his entry because of the fact that he actually took time out of his day to call up Papa John's and get a pizza. That just cracks me up. So the Completionist will go ahead and get to decide any game that I've reviewed. I will buy him a copy, sign it from all of us here, as well as receive a limited edition signature from us as well. And be sure to check back next week, guys, for our new contest. I know I said that last week, but next week, new contest for our 30th 1,000 subscriber contest. Check it out. And of course, that's all the time I have for today, guys, so please, as always, leave a positive or negative comment in the box below. Don't forget to leave your game suggestions for us for the future of the show. Don't forget to like Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and of course, Tumblr. You know that Tumblr. Now, if you excuse me, hallway dance party!